You feel like this romantic pull or draw to another person because they are like the mirror image and other part of your soul. So there's always going to be that energetic connection, that pulling of the two back and forth, trying to come into union, which is something you might have to deal with for a majority of the rest of your life. For some, you do come into union and it can be a beautiful thing, but it can also be tumultuous because if neither one of you have healed, only one is healed and the other has not grown and done their shadow work. Every single time you deal with this person, you're going to be reminded and shown like a reflection to yourself of something that maybe that you've been through or that triggers you to have PTSD or trauma from your past, and you might have to keep reliving those experiences when all you want to do is work on that. So sometimes, in my opinion, it's more copacetic, I can't say it. You know what I'm trying to say, copacetic, and more fluid to love from afar and just be happy for them, because that means that your other part is thriving and they're abundant and they're at peace and they're living their best life, and that should give you some sense of peace in yourself. Even though our physical bodies and our emotional bodies just feel this pull and this draw and this need and this urge and this desire and all that, we have to kind of come back to the place in our heart of pure love, of like, if you let it go and it comes back, then it was meant to be. And you know, love from afar and just be happy for them, that unconditional love. And I've actually heard that so much this week in other people's readings, unconditional love. I feel like that's the vibe this week, is we have to kind of check ourselves. Does our love come with conditions? Are we fully accepting of those in our energy and who they are to the core, despite their flaws? Aside from protecting our energy, and aside from, you know, keeping ourselves in a healthy mindset and safe, are we really, really accepting of those that we say we love? I think it's something to think about. It's definitely something to think about. And every encounter you have this holiday season with family, friends, and lovers, I encourage you to let that sit in your mind as you're dealing with them. And I'm not trying to preach or lecture or tell you what to do, but when these messages come out of me from nowhere, I know it's a message that needs to be heard by you guys and by myself, all of us. Divine wants us to take note and to be aware of how we treat others, not just outwardly with our voices and physically with our bodies, but inwardly. How do we perceive them? How are we judging them right now? If I was in their shoes and I was on the receiving end of this dynamic, how would I want them to treat me or look at me or react right now? What do they really need from me? Because that's love. If someone's going through a hard time, and I've seen it, I've been there, I've been on that end too, and I've been on the other end of the helper, and you know, you see someone going through a hard time and all you can think about is all the things that they could be doing to make their situation better, but they're not. But that's not helpful either. That's judgy. They're clearly not in the mindset to make those choices. They're not emotionally capable at this time in their life to make those judgment calls because they're in a state of like a low vibe or depression or maybe loss or defeat, whatever it is. We're being called not to judge them for where they're at, but to give them the love that they need to feel safe and to feel like they can keep pushing forward, and that they got this, that they're going to make it out of this slump, that they are loved regardless of where they're at. And I have been on that receiving end where I felt there was a point in my life where it was right about this time, about 2 years ago, and it was right before I became 100% sober. Like, won't allow myself to drink alcohol or anything, like and I just remember being here in this house at that time, my family gone during the day, and just feeling like I had no worth. And I don't want to say anyone ever made me feel worthless. It was just how I felt about myself. And it was like the worst place. It was the worst place to be mentally, spiritually, physically, energetically. Like, every aspect of my being was in this place of sadness and despair. And I don't think anyone could have said or done anything at that time to make me think otherwise because of where I was in my mindset. I just wanted to be loved and hugged a lot and comforted, and felt like there's people around me that would just be there with me. And I'm not going to get into my whole life story here. It's just whatever is going on right now in this energy with these people in your life. Divine's just saying to take down those walls a little bit, because you have done your healing and your growth, and I feel like you're in a place of like hyper vigilance and protection of yourself, because you are fearful of allowing yourself to get played again. You don't want to get played again. You don't want to get hurt again. You don't want to get dragged down into other people's problems where you're over giving and you're getting sick, or you're being financially burdened, or you're in a negative mindset because of other people. Like, you're fearful of that. So you're very highly protective of your energy right now. Divine's saying you have to take down some of those walls and allow yourself to be in the community, to be around the family and friends, because you have done your healing and you're growing and all that's connected to it, and you've learned so much, and you have so much love and wisdom to share, that there's no sense in hoarding it and keeping it to yourself anymore. It's time for you to share that love with other people, because there's other people out there that need it right now, and that you've been in their positions and you would have wanted it given to you, just like me. I've been in that position. So it's like a validation for all of us, including myself, to step outside of our boxes, our comfort zones, and to start walking our truth. Start stepping into the truth of who we are. We can't hide behind cameras no more. We need to embrace it and become it completely, and walk out into the world and give the love that we have and help others through their battles as well. We know better now not to get ourselves dragged down in the monotony of it, but not to be fearful of it, because we are on the other end of that. And if at any time you feel that your energy is being compromised, or that you're over giving, just take a minute. Come back in the house, take a breather, collect yourself, strengthen your energy again, and step back out. We are not meant to be hidden away and secluded and disconnected from the people in our lives that we love. We are here to interact with them and to help each other grow. So now that we're in a place of giving and we have a lot to give, we need to start doing that. Okay, so I'm going to end this one here. I'm going to pick up in a part 2. It might be a part 5 actually. I have a lot of information so far. This kind of took a turn out of the love oracle energy reading into more of like a spiritual type message, but I'm just going with the flow. But let's end it here, and I'm going to start up again. So part 2 coming up soon.